What would you do if a customer asked you to dance for an extra $3 tip? This DoorDash driver said, nope, not happening, and they got a 1-star rating. But here's what happened next that sparked a nationwide conversation about driver dignity. Now, this just happened a couple days ago. A DoorDash driver received a standard delivery order. Nothing unusual, but hidden in the Leave It Door notes was something that honestly, in my opinion, should never exist in professional work. The customer note said, dance for me, I'll give you an extra $3 tip. $3. For a human being to perform like entertainment. This isn't about money. This is about respect and dignity. The driver did exactly what any professional should do. They completed the delivery professionally, declined the degrading request, and moved on. Professional, respectful, appropriate, but the customer wasn't finished. They gave them a 1-star rating. Why? Because the driver wouldn't degrade themselves for $3. This is the reality you face every single day working the DoorDash app. Here's what most people don't understand. This isn't an isolated incident. This happens a lot on the DoorDash platform. Some might even think that this is a pattern. According to a survey, 67% of delivery drivers report experiencing inappropriate requests from customers. 67%. That's 2 out of every 3 drivers dealing with entitlement and disrespect. From customers demanding meetups instead of contact delivery, to asking drivers to perform tricks for tips, to leaving notes asking drivers to pick up their trash or clean their cars. Honestly, sometimes it's just out of control. And here's the problem. You can't fight back. The rating system is completely one-sided. One bad rating from an entitled customer can destroy a lot of your hard work and 5-star ratings. Do you know what happens when your rating just drops too low? Deactivation. You lose access to orders if you're in the tier system. You lose some of your income. If you get deactivated, you lose your livelihood because it gets destroyed because of some customer felt entitled to treat you like entertainment. The gig economy has created a class of workers with zero protection when it comes to this. So let's talk about the real problem here. The rating system, in my opinion, has been broken for a while, ever since I honestly started DoorDash. Customers can rate you for anything, even things that you have nothing to do with, including delivery quality. You can deliver perfectly, on time, professional, courteous, and get a 1-star rating because you refuse to be degraded and dance in front of an iRing camera. And here's the most frustrating part. You have no recourse. You can't dispute the ratings. You can't explain what happened on your side. You can't fight back. You just have to accept that your income can be destroyed by someone having a bad day or feeling entitled. Think about this comparison. If a restaurant server refused to dance for a tip, would they be fired? Would they lose their job? No, they'd be protected. They have HR, they have a manager, they have legal protections, but gig workers were considered disposable, replaceable, expendable. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, they've built an entire system where they have zero liability for customers' behavior. Zero. They don't care if their ratings are unfair, just suck it up. Because they're not the ones getting deactivated. You are. This is a system designed to protect the DoorDash app, not the Dasher. So let's get real about what this means. These aren't statistics. These are real people, real Dashers like you and me. Their parents working double shifts to pay for rent, students paying for college, families depending on income to survive, single mothers building a better life, people with disabilities who can't work a traditional job. For what? To be treated like a performer? Have their dignity challenged for pocket change? I've talked to dozens of drivers who shared stories that will honestly break your heart. Customers asking them to do things that it's not even what is expected of them. To sing, to dance, to take out their trash. Seriously? all for tips that wouldn't even cover the gas to get from there and back. One driver told me a customer left a note saying, "If you're not smiling at my doorbell camera, you don't deserve a tip." Really? Another driver was asked to wait 20 minutes while a customer decided if they wanted the food. And by the way, it was a no-tip offer. This is honestly, in most cases, in my book, psychological abuse. And it's disguised as customer feedback. And the worst part, drivers internalize it. They start thinking, maybe I should have done what they asked. Maybe I should have smiled more. Maybe I'm just not good enough. No, you are. It's not you. It's the customer that has these wacky demands. Not every customer is like this, and I have to go out saying that there are fantastic customers out there. But when you see things like this, it really makes you stop and go, really? Like, this is what we deal with. But here's where this story gets powerful. This driver didn't just accept the abuse. They didn't silently take the 1-star rating and move on. They did, honestly, something fantastic. They shared their story on social media, and the internet responded exactly how you'd hope. Within hours, the story went viral. Thousands of drivers sharing their own experiences. Thousands of people calling out that customer for being ridiculous. The community rallied around the driver like you wouldn't believe. Other drivers started sharing their own stories. The conversation exploded. People started understanding what gig workers really go through every single day. The entitlement, the disrespect, the broken system, and here's what's important. The driver's story, in just a few days ago, became a movement and became a conversation about driver dignity, about whether customers should be allowed to degrade workers, whether customers should be allowed to even put something in there at all. And here's the thing, DoorDash has AI to monitor notes like this, but yet they didn't catch something just like this. But this raises a real question that needs to be answered. Should drivers be allowed to dispute ratings when they're clearly unfair or based on inappropriate customer requests? The answer is yes, absolutely yes. If the customer rates you 1 star because you refuse to be degraded, that's not the reflection of your delivery quality. That is customer abuse, and you should be disputed and removed. Here's the thing that a lot of drivers don't even realize when something like this happens because they're shocked that it even did. They can't believe it. When something like this happens, I'm telling you, dispute it. Call support. Have this customer reported immediately and put it under driver safety. That is the key to all of this. When you put it under driver safety, you felt threatened. You felt uncomfortable doing delivery. First of all, they'll report it in the system. Second, ask support to have this customer removed from your account so you never deliver to them again. On top of that, the last time, nothing to this degree, but I had a customer issue that I did not feel comfortable delivering. They told me that if I got a 1-star rating because of this, to call back and they would remove the 1-star rating. I've had some success with this and some not success for this. I've had 1-star ratings be removed because I fought the fight and I won. There are other times where I didn't think I deserved a 1-star and I left it. It doesn't hurt to always ask. Get support involved if something like this ever happens and you want the customer removed so it never happens to you again. So even though in the app there's nothing, I think that's the big thing. There's nothing that as soon as you get a 1-star, kind of like a contract violation, you can't go in and tell your side of the story. That doesn't happen. That's not in the app. Which DoorDash, if you're listening to this, that would be a really good update. But there are things you can do. It might take you more steps. It might take you more time that you probably don't have. But sometimes it's worth fighting the fight, and in this Dasher's case, it definitely is worth it. Congratulations to the Dasher for completing the delivery professionally, and shame on the customer for putting a Dasher through this. So let me know, have you heard the story? And what do you think about it? Have you ever had a customer ask unrealistic things of you at delivery, such as this? There was one time I got a note that says, bang on the door and say you're the police. And no, I'm not getting shot today. And I delivered it as normal. Nothing happened, thank goodness. But this stuff does exist because I know I've lived it firsthand after doing this for years. While you're down there commenting on what you think about this, don't forget to give this video a like, and this one is up next. I'll see you over there.